Right, good morning, class. I'm Mr. Namaswa. I'm going to handle you. Business Studies Form 3. And the topic we've been dealing with is product markets. And today, we are going to finish up with monopoly markets, then look at the monopolistic competition market structure. Now, previously in our lesson, we were discussing the advantages and disadvantages of monopolies. And we looked at the sources of monopoly power. We looked at, I told you to give me at least 5 examples of monopolies. So today, let's proceed from there. Now, the next advantage of monopolies is that it provides standard goods, hence gives equal benefits to consumers. Now, we say that monopoly is a business that is run by one person. So this is a situation where we have many buyers, but there's only one seller. There's only one supplier for the market. Now that means whatever the supplier is going to offer to the market is uniform for everyone. So no particular buyer is going to have better quality goods or services than another. The services or goods are standard or uniform for all. Number 2, it provides price and output stability. Because of, we say the monopolist is the one who determines the price. So the price is going to be stable. That is one. There's nothing like forces of demand and supply determining the price. The price is set by the seller, and therefore it's going to be stable. And also, output is going to be stable. It's going to contain a constant supply for the market. Another advantage we look at is that the farm is able to produce in large scale, thus enjoying economies of scale. This is an advantage to the seller. Okay? He's going to produce in large scale because he's serving a larger market. And because of this, they are going to benefit from economies of scale. These are the advantages or the benefits that a business enjoys when it operates in large scale. Number 4, it provides revenue to the government by taxing the huge profits made by monopolies. Now we have what we call corporation tax or corporate tax, and this is a tax that is levied on profits enjoyed by corporates or companies. So because a monopoly is the only one, sets his own price, and therefore makes a lot of profit. This profit is going to be taxed currently at 30%, and the government is going to raise a lot of revenue to fund its budget. Now, another advantage is that the farm can use its huge profit to carry out research. Now, research could be into producing new products in the market, or the farm expanding into other markets, which is a benefit to both the farm and to the consumers. Another advantage is that there is no wastage of resources either in product differentiation or in advertising, because there is no competition. That one is self-explanatory. Because there is no competition, monopolies don't even advertise, okay? So they don't incur any cost. Another advantage is that the farm can distribute its product to all parts of the country because they are the only ones selling. And finally, we say the farm is able to spend its surplus funds on research and development, hence introducing new products, new production techniques. Now, what are the disadvantages of monopolies? 1, we say monopolies may charge high prices, hence exploiting the consumer. natural. If you are the only one selling and you are supplying a very essential commodity, you can charge any price you want. So there's going to be exploitation of the consumer. Disadvantage number 2 is that due to lack of competition, monopolies can produce substandard, or what we call inferior or quality goods. Now, monopolies are not competing with anyone, so even if they produce low quality goods, people will still buy, which becomes a disadvantage to the consumers or the buyers. Another disadvantage is that it causes unequal distribution of income. How? The suppliers are going to make a lot of money, yet the buyers, who are many, are going to incur the cost of running the business. So there is a gap in distribution of income. And we also say too much monopoly power may influence the government to adopt unfavorable policies. When there's too much monopoly power, the government may influence, the government may be influenced to adopt unfavorable policies. Now here is where we look at the sovereignty of the country. If this is a multinational that is operating as a monopoly, then the government may be forced to sing to the tune of the seller, which could be unfavorable. It also denies consumers a variety of goods and services. Now, if we look at Kenya Power and Lighting Company, for instance, as one of the monopolies that is well established in our country. Now, there are various instances where people feel inconvenienced. There's no power because of problem here and there, because of their faulty equipment. Now, because customers don't have an alternative, okay, they have no opportunity to choose from any other provider. They are inconvenienced. Then we also say monopolies may overlook some markets which are less profitable, hence denying consumers in those markets access to goods and services. Now, there are markets where maybe people have low levels of income, therefore supplying goods or services in such areas would be unprofitable. Now, as any business, their main aim is to make profit. So they might avoid such markets, and those consumers, the places, are going to lack the product. Then, finally, we say monopolists may cause artificial shortages so as to manipulate prices. Now, this has happened before. This has happened before where monopolies, especially those ones that operate like cartels, they come up together, then they decide to cause artificial shortages. Then when there is a shortage, what happens? Demand is going to be more than supply. So there is excess demand. Then they increase their prices. That is another disadvantage. Now, next, we want to look at control of monopolies. Now, this one is not in your inventor books. You have to be very keen. This is an addition. Make sure you have these notes. Now, how does the government try to control monopolies? Now, the government can control monopolies by using the following methods. 1, using price controls control their selling prices. Now, the government should come in to cushion its citizens against exploitation by setting up price controls where the monopolies are not allowed to sell beyond a certain level. How else can the government control monopolies? By taxing the monopolies' profits and redistributing the money to citizens in the form of service provision. So the government can tax them, then provide services to the citizens like medical care, bursaries to the needy, and that will control the monopoly. The government can also reduce barriers to entry into monopoly markets so as to introduce competition. Like this year, bill was passed in Parliament that brought to the end the monopoly enjoyed by Kenya Power. So very soon, other firms will be licensed to compete with Kenya Power, which will bring, of course, efficiency, and also prices will be fair. The government can break large monopoly firms into smaller business units under different management. So if you have a big monopoly, the government can decide to break it down into smaller units so that maybe they can only operate in specific regions, so that you have county farms dealing in the same or in different goods. Then forming monopoly commissions to oversee and control the operations of the farm. The government can decide to form monopoly commissions, which are going to regulate how the monopolies behave. And also nationalization of the farm, i.e. the government can take over the farm and start supplying products at reasonable prices. And finally, refusing to license monopolies. Those are measures the country can use to control monopoly. Now that brings us to the end of monopoly. Now we look at monopolistic competition market. This is the third market, product market we are going to look at. Now, what is a monopolistic competition market? Now, this is a market that combines features of a perfect competition and a monopoly. So it has some characteristics of a perfect competition market, and it also has characteristics of a monopoly. Now, in this market, there is a large number of buyers and sellers dealing in a similar product which is differentiated, e.g., toothpaste, bread, etc. I repeat, this is a market that combines features of perfect competition and a monopoly. In this market, there is a large number of buyers and sellers dealing in a similar product which is differentiated. And a good example of perfect, rather monopolistic competition, we have toothpaste companies and we have bread companies. Now the methods used in differentiating the products may include following. We have branding, wrapping, packaging, and coloring. So here we are saying we have many buyers and we also have many sellers, but not as many as in perfect competition. Now these sellers or suppliers are dealing in a similar product, but they have only differentiated. They have tried to make their products different from the rest by either branding them, by how they wrap or package them, or how they color their products. Now, if we look at toothpaste, for instance, the product is similar, but if you look at Colgate, for instance, it is white. The Colgate Herbal has some red, white, and green stripes. If we look at AgroFresh, it has some blue. So that is how they differentiate their products, but they're all the same. Now, what are the features of a monopolistic competition market? One, there are many buyers and sellers who act independently of one another. Two, products are differentiated, making each farm enjoy some level of monopoly. So there are those who are loyal to Colgate. There are those who are loyal to Lozap because of the differentiation. So every farm has some level of monopoly. There's freedom of entry and exit, just like in the perfect competition. Sellers and buyers have perfect knowledge about the market. The farm is a price maker. That means it is able to determine its selling price, just like in a monopolistic market. Now, what are the advantages? One, it provides a variety of consumer goods from the many brands. Number two, it provides information to consumers through aggressive advertising because the farms are competing. And therefore, each farm has to advertise to be able to compete with the rest. Then it encourages innovation among the competing farms. Every farm has to invest in technology, in research, to improve on their products so as to compete. The disadvantages of this, we have one, there is duplication of resources in producing similar goods. Two, there is wasteful advertising. They spend a lot of money on advertising, which becomes wasteful. Farms operate at excessive capacity in the long run, and expenditure on advertising increases the cost of production. Inefficient farms may survive in business due to differentiation. So we are saying a farm may be inefficient, okay? But because it's trying to be different from the other, the consumers may not be able to know. They might think that is how they want to survive. And finally, competition prevents standardization. And what that means is that the products may not be uniform. The products are not standard. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Go through the notes, write them down, and again, list for me any 5 examples of monopolistic competition market.